Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping have begun talks in a restricted format in the ancient city of Xian, which is also incidentally the president's hometown. This is where Prime Minister Modi arrived this morning to begin his 3-day visit to China, something that's been talked about a lot since Prime Minister Modi landed there in Xian, about how significant it is and how China has departed from protocol to begin Prime Minister Modi's visit to China, not from Beijing but from Xian. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 3-day visit, and these are pictures that you're seeing of those talks taking place. Well, they've been underway for about an hour now, expected to end in a short while from now. And these are restricted and informal talks, and formal talks likely to take place in Beijing tomorrow between the two leaders. Well, my colleague Nidhi Razdan now joining us for more on that. Nidhi, that meeting's now been underway for almost an hour, expected to end any minute now.
Well, that's right. This was the time that was earmarked for the meeting between the two leaders, and after that they are going to head out together to the White Goose Pagoda, the spiritual structure that was built in memory of the famous Chinese Buddhist monk who had come to India many centuries ago, which is again a very rare event as far as China is concerned. And then the two leaders will be heading to a traditional ceremony that Mr. Modi will witness, and then a banquet by the president. So it's quite a packed day, and they will have quite a number of hours together. But this meeting, perhaps the most significant one that Mr. Modi will have, given that President Xi is in fact the ultimate power authority as far as China is concerned, and therefore all issues are on the table in these talks that are taking place. All the contentious issues on the border, on investments in POK, on the maritime Silk Road, etc., as well as commonalities that they're seeking to find in order to hopefully transform the relationship.
Right, and Nidhi, we're also hearing that, of course, the issue of stapled visa as well as the other POK issue likely to figure very, very high in talks. But this is really the restricted informal talks that are taking place. How many more rounds of talks are there likely to be between the two leaders?
Well, I mean, this is really the only meeting between the two of them, and in fact, I can also tell you that they made some brief remarks to the media when the photo op was taking place, where Mr. Modi said it was an honor to 125 crore Indians whom I'm representing as the Prime Minister, and President Xi spoke in Chinese and recalled his visit to Ahmedabad in September last year, where he said that he had been received very warmly in Mr. Modi's hometown, and that he was very glad to receive Mr. Modi in his hometown. So these remarks were made as well. So, these are the formal talks that the two leaders have. And then after that, as I said, they're going to the Wild Goose Pagoda. They're going to have a banquet, dinner together before the Prime Minister comes here to Beijing and has the actual sort of formal talks, as it were, with the Premier and his delegations tomorrow morning. And by midday tomorrow, the outcome then, in the sense of politically at least, of this visit will be known.
Right, and Nidhi, several firsts in this trip, something that the Chinese media has highlighted this morning as well, how China has kept protocol. It's accorded a highest level reception to Prime Minister Modi. This particular visit not beginning from Beijing, but from President Xi Jinping's hometown of Xian. So in a sense, very, very significant.
Well, yes, in terms of certainly the optics and the general atmospherics in the run-up to this visit, it has been quite significant. Many firsts in this visit. Also, the first time significantly that there has been no news of any Chinese incursions taking place, which has normally been a pattern whenever the two leaders meet or high-level summit meetings take place between India and China. That is also being noted with some significance. And even though there isn't really expected to be any major movement forward on the boundary issue, there is a feeling here certainly that these two leaders have the mandate to be able to find some kind of an out-of-the-box solution eventually, and certainly at least ensure that there are enough CBMs in place to ensure that the peace and tranquility is maintained on the border.
All right, Nidhi, we are going to, of course, get more details of what's really going on there in Xian. Nidhi is going to be back with us in just a few minutes. But just to recap for you, this very, very significant visit of Prime Minister Modi in China and what's taken place so far. Remember that President Xi is accompanying the Prime Minister throughout his stay in Xian. That's where that was Prime Minister's first stop here in China. And that this evening, Prime Minister Modi will be hosted at a banquet by President Xi Jinping before he flies to Beijing, where there will be formal talks with his Chinese counterpart and other leaders tomorrow. Of course, trade is a major focus of this visit, and India and China are expected to sign 20 business deals worth about $10 billion. Prime Minister Modi will also meet Indian and Chinese CEOs and also look at addressing the industry in Shanghai. That's going to take place on Saturday.